Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you guys are. I hope you have an exciting day today. I wanted to tell you guys I'm completely flabbergasted about all the news that is coming out with Sintranos, as well as the new Mythic, which we're going to actually talk about today. It's Karnage the Anarch, and I want to do a breakdown of his skill set and give you guys my 2 pennies about whether or not he's going to be valuable for the future for your account, and we'll talk about how you can acquire him and some extra little tidbits along the way, okay? So, with that being said, I wanted to show you guys at least the start of his base form, which is going to look something like this. I'm going to disappear here for a second, and we'll just kind of talk about how he looks. I mean, like, in terms of aesthetic, this guy looks really, really dope. The burning wings, as well as the blade that has, like, insignias and designs on it. Looks like it's also kind of, like, embered or, like, fired. Like as if it was just forged, as well as like him having like half a face mask, and then the hands on the chest or his chest plate seems to be really, really exciting, really, really like nice looking. In addition to that, I also so happen to have the updated version of his his alternative, his xenomorph form. Excuse me, I can't talk today. I'm too excited. Where you're able to see him as he's transformed, where his wings are now expanded, they're out and rolling. I mean, he looks like he's like darkened, really, really menacing. I mean, I have to admit, like, this design is phenomenal. I mean, this champion looks dope. Look at the multi faces on his helmet, or on the side of his on the side of his helmet, and as well as the additional like center eye in there. He looks like he's a menace, like someone you don't really want to deal with if you can help it. So I will definitely say big nod to the development team for really knocking it out of the park. You can see the multiple faces on the side there. It's really, really cool looking. I have to admit, this is super dope. Now, with that being said, I wanted to break it down, and let's take a look at his kit. This guy hopefully is going to live up to the expectation. He's going to hopefully live up to the hype. Now, I won't lie, I've been notified by Plarium that the intent behind this champion is that he's designed to be a PvP-type champion. So, it sounds like that arena's going to be his main place to shine. He also brings a brand new debuff to the game, which we're going to look into. It's called Seal. It could be a very interesting thing to work out. It has the ability to turn off effects from gear sets and masteries, so keep that in mind. That's crazy. Except stat boost granted by artifacts and accessories. So just so you're aware, we're going to go ahead and look into this. His Super Slash, which is A1, we're talking about base form version of him right now, has a 50% chance after attacking 2 times. Has a 50% chance of removing 1 random buff from the target. Has a passive effect on top of it. Whenever an enemy hits this champion or an ally, has a 50% chance to counterattack with this skill. This chance is increased by 10% for each debuff on the enemy. So the more debuffs you do, the more likely you are to get a counterattack from this guy, huh? As well as it means that you're controlling them in terms of being able to provide a buff removal, which is kind of cool. Now, the damage is increased by 15% when booked once, and then the ignore resistance is booked up an additional 3rd time. So, you won't need too much accuracy to be able to start stripping after, booking them too much, Now, Devilish Accord, which is on a 4-time cooldown, can be booked down to 3, attacks 1 enemy 2 times, before attacking, swaps HP with the enemy, then steals all buffs from them. Or before attacking, swaps HP with an enemy, then steals all buffs with them, also transfers all debuffs on this champion to the target, and then places a seal debuff on the target for 2 turns. This debuff cannot be removed. This debuff cannot be resisted or blocked if the target has 50% HP or less. So, seal. Literally, it means seal. Like, you're closing off all of his capabilities in terms of that debuff, which is nuts. Now, it cannot be removed means it's protected in the sense, which is interesting. Now, it didn't say that its turn meters or its turn duration can't be affected, so there may be an outlet that way. But we'll have to see how it goes in application. I mean, that's a new buff, so I'm expecting some new intricacies around it. Trinity of Pain, which is his A3, is going to be a 3-turn cooldown. Attacks 1 enemy 3 times. The first hit places a block passive skills debuff for 2 turns. Cannot be removed. This hit places a block attack skill debuff for 2 turns. So passives and actives are getting locked out for 2 turns, and they can't be removed. So that means they're protected in that sense. The third hit steals 100% of the target's turn meter. So not only does he punish you whenever he's able to lock you down, he's also able to steal your turn meter and maybe go again. Maybe he was doing it on a very, very fast target that was about to go next, and because of that, he pretty much takes all of their turn meter, giving him basically a whole nother turn, potentially. Now, his metamorph ability allows him to go into the other side of his kit, which we'll talk about here in just a moment. But Avatar of Anarchy, which is his passive in his base form, each hit this champion deals from skills has a 50% chance of applying a debuff spread effect. So each hit Each hit hitting more than 2 times means that each time he hits, so his A1 gives you 2 chances, his A3 gives you 3 chances, right? Of placing 1 random buff and placing it on all enemies. That's huge. That's huge. Being able to take 3 times the effect on 1 enemy just to apply a debuff spray could be some very versatile options. Whenever this champion kills an enemy, he has a 100% chance of applying a debuff spread effect, taking all debuffs from the target and placing them all on all enemies. This effect cannot be resisted. It means it can be blocked, but it can't be resisted. So your buff situation is going to be very important, which is why he probably removes it. Now, his aura increases ally speed in arena by 33%, which means that he has an aura that's faster than Arbiter, just to give you context. Faster than your SoulSaint. So in terms of speed champions, this guy can go in the front. Easily. Easily. That is exciting. That is a very exciting kit. I'm curious to see what you guys think about the seal effect so far. As it currently stands, though, I won't lie. I think that the second part of his kit's gonna probably be where his damage is gonna really shine. I'm expecting it to. Well, let's see. Let's see. So his alternate form, the one where he's expanding his wings and he's ready to fight. Demon Stinger, his A1, attacks 1 enemy 2 times, heals his champion by 20% of the damage inflicted. Okay, so now he's healing whenever he's doing damage. Whenever this enemy hits, this is a passive effect, this champion or an ally has a 50% chance of counterattacking with this skill and increases by 10% for each debuff on the enemy. So it's the same as the other side. And the scaling of the damage also increases. So you don't have the buff removal, you have the heal instead, but you still get the counterattack. Pretty much the same premise there. Now, on this side, damage is increased by both books. So it's probably going to pack a little bit more of a punch on this side. Singularity of Pain on a 4-turn cooldown can be booked down to a 3-turn cooldown. Attacks all enemies. Will ignore shield buffs. Also will ignore ally protection when enemies are under 1 or more debuffs. And unkillable buffs when attacking enemies under 2 or more debuffs. Huge. So that negates champions like your Leorius, who may be able to stand up a little bit longer because he has that passive kicking in for himself. And then maybe going against an Emic who likes to put shields as well as unkillable and taunt on himself and his allies. This is a direct response to someone like that, I think, right? Now, it is conditional upon having debuffs on the team, but you can use like a setup champion to help yourself get up and running there, right? There's a lot of champions that have recently been acquired that allow you to not only strip champions, but also put some debuffs on there, so that might be some value in terms of synergy, right? Inferno Stars on a 5-turn cooldown can be booked down to a 4-turn cooldown. It attacks all enemies 2 times if a target is killed by this skill while under 3 or more different debuffs. Places a block revive debuff on them. That is tremendous for compositions like that have to do like very revive centric. You have your Sun Wukongs, you have your Nogdars, excuse me, your Marishkas, you know, just to name a few champions that like to pop back up for some reason, right? Being able to block revive means that once they're down, they stay down. And you don't have to worry about them, right? In addition to that, it also heals this champion by 30% of the damage dealt, which means that you'll be able to go the battle of attrition with a little bit of extra support, I'm willing to bet, because he is an attack type champion. I believe in both of these types of forms that he is susceptible to having a weak amount of survivability. He is a Mythic, so that may be up for debate. But I'm going to assume that an additional level of support is going to be needed for this champion to survive, but having an extra additional heal could be the break between you dying or surviving, you know? Now, he also has his Metamorph, which transfers him back to his base form, but on his passive side, Unending Carnage, this champion's crit damage is increased by 1% for every 3 points of accuracy they have. Ignores 10% of the target's defense for each debuff they are under. That's where the debuff, or that's where the damage is going to come in. So as long as they have debuffs, and you're going to benefit from that by having accuracy on this champion, you're going to be able to do some work. Now, it looks like you're going to have to set up on the base form, and then you go damage oriented on the second form, which means that there's a little bit of an element for counterplay, I feel like, or to avoid that counterplay in terms of like interruptions or like, you know, the battle over time. You could set up with another champion, immediately morph into this side, and just start packing a punch and like really getting it down. Now, his speed aura is still the same in this form too as well, so that means that being able to go fast with this type of champion is nasty. I view this champion as a W in the traditional sense of a nuker. The extra utility is nice. However, I want to bring a point of contention, which may be the reason why they're building him this way. This champion is all about benefiting from the total amount of debuffs that are applied on an enemy, which means that to do that, you need to be able to put debuffs on board. He is going to need a little bit of accuracy to land some of this stuff, right? In the sense of being able to apply it. I think debuff spreading also requires an element of accuracy to do it. But I will say this. Right now, Sheep is a part of the meta. And I do know that that is around the corner in terms of being addressed in some capacity. We don't know to what extent. So if it does go away in the aspect where debuffs are a lot more applicable in PvP content, this champion is going to thrive, in addition to some others that are going to kind of come up and spread their wings as well. So being able to do that in tandem with those type of champions, maybe you have one utility champion that sets up for the team, and then he comes in for the packing a punch, then yeah, you got it, right? But then in addition to that, him being able to do that himself without being punished is also something that we would want to have the case, right? We would hate to be punished for using our abilities as they currently stand. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this guy. Do you view him as a W? He is a spirit type champion, so I do have a lot of spirits on my end, spirit champions on my end. But I would like to see how I can incorporate this guy. He looks like he's a monster, so I'm very excited to see this guy in action. Let me know what you guys think. I think his design, his kit is going to be really, really exciting to use and abuse and have fun with. But what do y'all think? Do y'all think he's going to be worth the effort to kind of farm in through the Cursed City, which is where you're going to get him? You have to go through the new content and actually work your way and navigate through acquiring enough resources and basically progress in kind of like a campaign milestone checkpoint for stars and whatnot. Being able to do the same thing for the new Cursed City is going to be important for you to be able to get this champion. So let me know. Do you think it's going to be worth it with what you see so far? I think this champion might be really good. Now, keep in mind, everything I said about this kit is going to be contingent upon whether or not he has really good multipliers. So if you want to see the damage output, we'll have to wait for a later date when those numbers are available to us. But I will say this, if his multipliers are anywhere near significant enough and his base stats are solid to complement that, this champion is going to be a force to be reckoned with. So look out for him. With that being said, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and always remember, stay ascended.